But let me take this across to Pawan Duggal. Pawan Duggal, one of the first things that came to my mind when all of these developments were taking place and this massive outage hit the world was, this is what happens when one company has a monopoly over one sector. In this case, it's the tech sector. And it's not new that Microsoft has been accused of monopoly. But as users, as consumers of tech, should we now be more thoughtful about how there should be more than one company in one sector which has a hold on stuff?
Clearly, we have to realize that we cannot afford to keep all our eggs in one basket. And if we are going to keep that in an interconnected world, the reality of these kinds of vulnerabilities and global kinds of outages are going to stare us right in our face. The fact is that we'll have to go for appropriate disaster recovery management, appropriate steps. Why? Because you have to quickly realize that you cannot afford to be completely reliant on a particular technology or on a particular user of a particular service provider. Why? Because if that service provider goes kaput or its services are impacted, it could impact your entire digital operations, your digital business. Today, it's not just only about a small technical glitch in the updation of a software. It's an episode that's cost the world billions of dollars. The amount of losses that have been incurred globally have still not been calculated or estimated. But clearly, in a world when a company cannot afford to be 5 minutes down time in terms of downtime, we've now seen a couple of hours of complete outages at a global level. And when your flights start getting impacted, when your hospitals start getting impacted, it's no longer just a technical glitch issue. It's an issue that impacts the sovereignty, security, and integrity of a sovereign country. It's an issue that impacts the cyber sovereign interests of a particular country. And therefore, I think the time is clear that the world will have to go for a very thorough investigation as to what this has happened, rather than taking the statement of the company concerned on its face value. The time has come where the world has to now have a fresh relook on what should it be its approaches on cybersecurity. This is also the time when, once internet has made geography history, these kind of global outages are incapable of being dealt with by national cyber security laws. This is the time where the Committee of Nations have to come together and say, hey guys, let's now come up with some kind of an international treaty to deal with these kind of global outages and appropriate responsibility. It's also the time where nation states need to demand far more transparency, accountability and responsibility from various stakeholders. Any company does a lot of beta testing before it offers
absolutely.
its
Pawan Duggal,
updates
can I just
to
understand
its
from
users.
you?
But when you're talking of a big company.
Yeah. When you say, Pawan Duggal, that we should look into this beyond what the company is stating, are you saying that we still cannot rule out the fact that there could have been a security breach?
Absolutely. This is a classical case of a security breach, cyber security breach. Much that the company is saying it's not happening, it does not cutting any ice. Further, this is a kind of an episode where you could even see traces of existence of elements of cyber terror. In a typical cyber terror attack, what do? You basically try to disseminate terror in the minds and the hearts of the targeted community. This is exactly what happened today. Now, clearly saying that it was just a technical glitch is no longer going to really be holding much ice, primarily when these issues are cropping up. Countries need to look at it. Is it just a mere cybersecurity breach? Does it have cyber terror connections? And if so, who are the relevant cyber actors? If it is originated from the darknet, how do you attribute it to the darknet? Further, what can countries do in order to protect their cyber security postures? What further they need to do so as to put in place appropriate cyber resilience mechanisms and frameworks? this is most important because these kinds of episodes, while this is the first of its kind in the world, it's definitely not going to be the last. We are now already entering into the new cyber world order, where these increasing cyber security breaches and cyber crimes are going to be the daily new phenomenon, the new normal. And therefore, countries and their respective stakeholders need to have a more holistic, fresh, flexible approach on both cyber security and also on cyber resilience.